Hi everybody, welcome back to your favorite visual novel, where you, a human, arrive in a distant land with a wolf at your side. It's Lyre, guys. It's Lyre. Do I have the sound on? Let me make sure I have the sound on. Sometimes I don't have the sound on. I think it's working. About a dozen days pass, and I have finally finished getting everything ready for the winter solstice. A couple of restless nights and a few bottles of wine seem to do the trick. Oh, it is today winter solstice. This is chapter 4. Chapter 4 Lyre. Lyle keeping me company also helped, even if he spent most of the time out in the hall. I have to attend these boring meetings, though. The only good thing to come out of them are my conversations with Raynar once the meetings are done. He's grown quite fond of me over these past few days. I don't know why he likes me so much. He treats Lord Kadaj and I the same professionally, but he treats me like a friend. Then there's Lyle. Lately, I think he's been distancing himself from me. Or, it feels like it. I assume it's because of that little revelation that occurred. I have to admit, it's crossed my mind multiple times as well. I can't help but be thankful for this little bit of space that's been provided. True, I enjoy his company, but I feel that I needed some time to myself in order to assess my thoughts. But yeah, the reason I kept, skipping the text really fast last time is because text speed is on max by default. I think it's by default. I don't know. The text speed is really fast, so that's why I kept accidentally skipping the text. True, I enjoy his company, but I felt that I needed some time to myself in order to assess my thoughts. And I've finally come to a conclusion. I think I have feelings for him? Or maybe not. Perhaps I'm just confused. Call it what you will, but it's the closest I have ever gotten to feeling like this with someone. It's more than just casual, sexual desire. It feels wrong, considering I've only been here for a while, but every time I'm around him, my chest twists into knots and I feel all warm inside. Huh. I guess we'll have to see about that later. Even if it's too early to be coming to those conclusions, I still want to get to know him more. Every day I wake up and he's the first thing on my mind. His personality, those big eyes. That beautiful dark coat of fur and bushy tail. Those strong, muscular arms and his big heart. I get up from my desk to go and answer the door. I don't know. Maybe it's not love. It. Capital It's. My emotions are all over the place and I need to be more responsible. It's fine to be emotional, though. Healthy. Before I can grab the handle, I hear a weird scratching noise. It's coming from the peephole. I open the small door and stare through the opening. On the other side is Lyle, sticking his muzzle up to the opening. Hi. Hi. Can I come in? I had to hold back my laughter. Opening the door. Oh, okay. I open the door to let him in, as he ducks under the doorway. When he looks at me, I can't take it anymore and break into a fit of wheezy chuckles. He recoils and gets a little bit flustered, which makes me laugh even more. What? What is it? It's nothing. No. You know exactly what you did. I know, I was just trying to be funny. And you succeeded. I just had a little bit of a late response. Heh, yeah. I wipe a tear from my eye and pull my hair back, retying it behind my head while walking back to my desk. Well, you'll be happy to know that I've just finished getting everything ready for the ball. That's great to hear. Yeah, I just had to bring these payments to the bakery in the village. They're baking hundreds of mini pastries, along with providing baked goods for the village festival. Wait, you're not going to have a servant do that? Well, I wanted to bring it myself. I figured that they deserve to have this delivered in person, considering the hard work they've been doing. I hold up the thick envelope. Today is the first day all week where it's not freezing cold. And I feel like now that I have the free time, I can go and see the village. Alright. Really? Yeah, I don't see why not. You don't have to ask me for permission, though. And you've had the free time all week. He says that last part under his breath and out of the corner of his muzzle. I shrug it off. I know, I just wanted a second opinion. Wanted to make sure it was a good idea. Besides, I'm pretty sure that I have nothing else going on today. The winter solstice is only a few days away. Time flies when you're busy, I guess. Plus, I've got a lot on my mind. I am actually free for the rest of the week, if what I had to go off of is true. That's good to hear. I'm excited to be able to show you around the town square. Guys, we're leaving the castle. The entirety of the story, the entirety of the narrative doesn't take place in the one building. The village actually has a lot of history to it. One of the oldest places in the land. I can imagine it now. A bustling town square with dozens of little shops and homes lining the street. I can barely contain my excitement. Sure hope it does. Roadwork ahead. I'll go get ready. I make my way across the room and dress myself in clothing that better suits going outside. It's very cold out and I don't want to freeze. Lyle is standing on the far side of the room. Is he watching me get dressed? While I'm pulling up my trousers, I turn my head to look in his direction. I think I see him quickly avert his gaze. He's not even staring at anything, he's just staring at the wall. I finish putting on my outfit and wrap the scarf around my neck. Okay, I'm ready. Oh, okay. He quickly pads across the room and opens the door while I grab the envelope off the desk. We step out into the hallway together, and the brisk chill hits my face like a thick cloud. The afternoon sunlight envelops me, making the cold temperature a little bit more bearable. Lyle picks up a key from his key ring and locks the door behind us. I have some things I would like to take care of in the village today, if you don't mind. I didn't do his voice. Not at all. I mean, it should only take a few minutes. It shouldn't interfere with any. Lyle, it's fine. Right, sorry. Remember, I'm not some child that needs to be taken care of. You don't need to conform to my every need. We make our way down the hallway, with me rubbing my hand along the windowsill. Windowsill. When I was younger, I always used to say windowsill as windowsill. But, like, I don't know. He walks by my side, rubbing his paws together in a sheepish way. What is it that you wanted to do? He perks up and leans forward, showing me the sword on his back. I wanted to take her to the smith. Need to get her treated. He slides off his back sheath and shows me the blade. She does look like it could use a good polish. Yeah, the blade's a bit dull. I like to keep her in good condition, even though I don't get to use her much. When do you get to use your sword? Mostly practice combat in the training yard. The training dummies really do a number on her edge. We reach a fork in the hallway and Lyle takes the lead. This way. We traverse down a hall that I haven't been to before. Feels familiar, though. So, what is her name? See his mouth curl, clearly embarrassed to reveal such information. Her name is Winter. Such a goober. That's a nice name, Lyle. Hey, thanks. I chose that name because just like the sword, Winter can be cold, dangerous, and long. It's very clever. I can hear the tone of surprise in your voice, Richter. No, you cannot. Let's out a hearty laugh that echoes up and down the halls. I'm just messing with you. We reach the end of the hallway where there was a small door. This feels too familiar. Have I been here before? Maybe this was one of the dead ends Lyle accidentally led me down on one of our many tours. Lyle takes a key and unlocks the door, revealing a spiral staircase. I'm filled with the feeling of deja vu for no reason. Where's this lead? The village. The place we were going? Do people usually leave the castle through here? For a moment he pauses in the doorway, then turns back to me. No, but sometimes it's best to use one of these exits instead of the main gates. Why is that? It's nothing. Like if the castle's under siege or something? Honestly, this way is just faster. Huh. So I wonder if, like, that nightmare Richter had, if it was, like, some, like, memory of, like, the castle being, like, attacked at some point or something. I don't know. Honestly, this way is just faster. It leads straight to the village, and there's no unnecessary checkpoints like at the main gate. He starts to descend the staircase, and I follow him. How far down does this go? Not too far. It's just a tunnel that leads to an exit in the village. These are supposed to be used in case anyone needs to escape the castle during a siege, but most of the diplomats and nobles like to use them to leave the castle without drawing attention. And are we trying not to draw attention? If you want to leave through the main gate, we can. This way is faster, though. No, this is fine. It's actually a bit exciting. Haven't done anything this sneaky in a while. Glad you think so. It's gonna get really dark once we reach the tunnel. Humans can't see well in the dark, can they? No, we can't. One of our few weaknesses. They do have a healing factor, though, right? Don't forget, humans have a healing factor in this setting. Write it in your notebook. That's okay. I have almost perfect vision in the dark, so I can help you. It's not a dangerous path at all. Very spacious, and the ground is flat. Huh. I feel like animals, at least in like the real world, I feel like animals, like, they have night vision, but I feel like they sort of rely on the light of like the moon and the stars. Like, I don't think they can see in like perfect pitch black darkness, you know, like you would have in like a tunnel like this. I don't think they can see in like perfect pitch black darkness. I think their eyes are just sort of like meant to like enhance the little light there is, but they can't just invent light from nothing, you know. They do need some degree of light to be able to see, I would think. I'm putting my trust in you, but I swear if I slip and hit my head, you'd better hope I forget everything. Haha, you'll be fine. We reach the bottom of the stairs and I can't see a thing. Each step I take becomes more cautious, but suddenly I feel something brush up against my hand. Richter, take my paw. I feel the metallic claws and soft leather of his glove wrap around my palm. His paws are very large and warm. They have a firm but gentle grip and feel articulate. These truly are an artist's hands. Or artist's paws. I'm not going to do the rant I did. I'm not going to do the rant I did about calling hands paws. Like, calling hands paws makes sense, but it doesn't. Right? Right, calling hands paws makes sense, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's cute. It's quirky. It's neat. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to call hands paws. Both with the pen and the sword. I wish I could tell him these thoughts, but I'm just too nervous. All these little scenarios run through my head, and I'm afraid I'll mess things up. I feel so stupid. He pulls me forward, and we begin to walk down the tunnel. Really hope that he can't see me blushing. Our footsteps echo up and down the tunnel, reverberating off of the walls. Okay, so if animals in this setting retain the dark vision, if they retain the night vision, do they like... Is Lyle colorblind? Reverberating off the walls. His are quieter than mine because my shoes are much louder than his padded feet. Oh, they're walking around barefoot. Have I did this rant too? Have I did the barefoot anthros rant? Have I did the barefoot anthros rant? Okay, like, all I'm gonna say is, like, I don't care if you have padded paws. Like, if you step on a rusty nail, that's gonna hurt and you're gonna get tetanus, right? I don't care if you have paws. I can see a light up ahead. It looks like it's coming from a trapdoor. We eventually reach the small silver sliver of light, and I hear the noise of Lyle's keys jingling. He unlocks the trapdoor and pushes it open. The light is blinding, but I can at least see the stairs. Lyle steps to the side, and I make my way up. I emerge into a side alley, and just around the corner is something I've been longing to see for a while. Just like how I imagined it would be. I mean, I'd seen most of it from the high towers in the castle, but it's different from this angle. People are bustling about their daily routine, going about their business. Children are seen holding their mother's paws while they shop for groceries, and merchants conduct business outside of their shops. Horse-drawn carts make their way down the paved roads and pass each other in a neat, orderly fashion, circling around the fountain. Pipes run up and down the walls of each little shop and home, with smoke drifting out the chimney caps into the sky. Lyle finishes locking up the trapdoor and joins me by my side, with his paws at his hips. It seems he's taking this in too. There's an entrance underneath a bridge up ahead, and I can see the ships in the harbor. Harbor? If I remember correctly, the bakery should be in the town square. As I'm looking around for the bakery, my eye catches something that I didn't pay much attention to before. The fountain in the center of the town has a statue on it that seems familiar. It's a doe, standing atop a pillar with grace and elegance. Her clothes are heavy, and it looks like she's draped in several garments of silk and cotton. Her eyes are closed, and her expression looks understanding, but there seems to be an aura of sadness about her. On her head is a tiara with a triangular gem hanging off the tip. Crystal clear waters flow out of the base of the fountain and glow in the light of the sun. Lyle is already walking towards a building when he stops to see why I'm not following. I walk up to the fountain and notice a golden plaque. There's an inscription on which I read aloud to myself. In honor of Queen Elena Ozian. Elena Ozian. Caring mother. Loving wife. Dutiful ruler. Oh, is this... Lyle walks up beside me, staring up at the statue. This is... Raynar's late wife. Our last queen. What happened to her? He scrunches up his snout and shakes his head slowly. It was about 10 years ago. His shoulders raise tensely and he sinks into his neck fluff a little bit. I think he probably feels that it's not his place to talk about this. She a good queen? He relaxes a bit and looks up at the statue again. I look as well, and I can't help but think of my own queen back in Erin. I think about how different she is from the vision before me. Exact opposites. She was the best. She'll go down in history. For a moment, the only noise I can hear is the sound of the water trickling onto the surface of the pool. I don't doubt it. Do you think Raynar and Adrius miss her? This time his answer is instant. With all their hearts, I'm sure. She was more than a queen. That actually explains a lot about Adrius, right? Right, that actually explains a lot about Adrius. He has a dead mom, right? He has a dead mom complex. That explains a lot. She was a friend to everyone here. He gives a slight pause to his sentence, letting the words linger. Come on, let's go to the forge. I've got an old friend that I want you to meet. He takes the lead, and I'm not surprised to see villagers part to let this pass. They probably recognize Lyle's armor and immediately know that someone important must be making their way through the village. Now that I think about it, I've been getting a lot of people staring at me, too. As I'm following Lyle, I see a vixen and a badger look at me and whisper to each other. Vixen says something that flusters the badger, and she lightly shoves her, making the fox laugh even more. The child holding their mother's paw calls out while pointing at me. I'm not used to getting this much attention, and I find myself awkwardly smiling or waving at everybody who gives it to me. I'm not really looking where I'm going and accidentally step on Lyle's tail. Ah! I lift my foot and realize my mistake, and he tumbles forward slightly. I can hear a few bystanders chuckle to themselves at my clumsiness. My face is probably as red as a tomato. He turns around, looking behind him, and wags his tail a bit to get it straightened out. Watch your step, Richter. It took me a very long time to get my tail to look this nice. Heh, sorry, Lyle. He keeps walking and stops outside of a tall building. There's some baskets outside stacked up against the wall, and a rug on the floor. I can hear the cling of metal from inside and the smell of coal burning. Lyle lifts the tarp in the doorway and gestures for me to walk through. I step into the doorway, muttering a thanks to him, still embarrassed about stepping on his tail like a clumsy fool. We step into a dim room, lit by a large furnace. It's warm in here, and the tarp and lack of windows does a good job at keeping the heat inside. There are swords lining up against the rack and horseshoes on the wall. I see an array of tools scattered about and some small hammers neatly arranged on the wall. It smells like hard work in here. Eden, you in? Hear a gruff voice come from a door off to the side. Reed, is that you? Yeah, just a second. Getting something from the back. I hear some clattering shortly after a large bear appears in the doorway. He's wearing a black apron that's covered in soot. Is it black because it's covered in soot? Or is it already a black apron, but also it's covered in soot? It's been a while, Reed. What do you need done this time? His eyes fall on me. And who's this fella? Ah, this is Richter. Lord Richter. He says it in a proud tone. I'm guarding him. Before I can ream him, Eden gives a slight bow and looks up at me. It's a right pleasure to meet you, Lord Richter. The bow is something I'll never get used to. You can just call me Richter if you want. I extend a hand and he takes it gently. His paws are huge and a bit dirty. I'm glad I'm wearing gloves, but I feel bad thinking that. He shakes my paw lightly as if he were dealing with a small child. That's what you want to be called, Richter. He's traveled here from Erin to help with diplomatic reasons. Don't get a lot of people from Erin around these parts, especially during this time of year. Too cold for him. This get a bit too cold for my comfort. Ha, don't worry. At night, once those vitality lanterns are lit, they'll warm up the whole village. Vitality lantern. Keeps the snow at bay, too. You guys hate snow. He turns to Lyle with a snarky grin. Do you need your sword fixed again? Lyle blushes and grips the handle of his sword. No, I just need her sharpened. She's feeling a bit dull. I would do it myself, but nobody does it better than you. You've got that right. He hoists the hammer higher, adjusting it on his shoulder. Vicrite steel is high-quality material, so I'll have it done within the hour. You want her polished too? I could give her the full treatment for no extra cost. Really? Sure, I'm not busy. I need something to do to make the time pass faster. These orders won't be picked up until later today. So for the past hour, I've just been cleaning up my workspace. But I hate cleaning, so I'll do anything to distract myself. While still is wagging and I can feel his excitement radiating off of him. That would be great. Lyle gives the sword to Edan, and sets it on the table. I'll be back in a bit to pick her up. Starts walking towards the door. It was nice seeing you, Ed. The Castle Forge has nothing on this place. Nice seeing you too, buddy. It was great meeting you, Richter. He lifts the tarp to the door and holds it open for me. A chilly breeze blows into the room and envelops the back of my head as I wave back to Edan. It's a pleasure to meet you too. We step outside and Lyle places his paw on my shoulder. We'll come back in a while to pick up my sword. Now that that's out of the way, you can drop off that letter at the bakery while we wait. Sure, I think I see it over there. Oh, wait. We should get something to eat while we're there. I'll pay. My treat. Oh. Sure. I can pay for my own, though. It's fine. Okay, Mr. Moneybags. This is the one trying to buy me stuff. I'm buying, okay? Okay. He seems to be pleased with the outcome. Great, let's go. I'm starving. We slowly make our way around the square and arrive at the door to the bakery. Lyle gets to the door for me and holds it. The inside of the bakery is warm, just like the forge. It's very clean and cozy in here, too. There's a small barn owl sitting behind the counter dressed in an outfit covered in flour. She's surrounded by an array of baked goods. Weirdly shaped cookies, loaves of bread, pastries, cakes, and pies. I see a shelf stacked with sacks of salt, flour, and sugar for sale. There's more salt, though, probably due to it being really expensive. It smells wonderful in here, too. I smell bread being freshly baked in the back. There's a raccoon couple sitting at one of the tables in the corner by a window. Lyle closes the door and we walk up to the counter. Hello, Charlotte. How are you doing today? Her black eyes beam back at Lyle as we step up to the counter. There's a sense of warmth about her. Her feathers even make her look like a seasoned loaf of bread.
Lyle, I haven't seen you in a couple of years. You look so grown up.
In a good way, right?
Always. Who's your friend here?
This is Richter. He's a lord from Erin. Hello.
Oh my. Last time we had a foreign lord here was about 2 years ago. Some Drizian fellow. Well, what can I get you boys?
Actually, I have a letter here for you. Place the letter on the counter and she slides it towards her with one of her gloves. This is for the goods you're preparing. The ones for the ball at the castle. If you take this to the banking guild and show it to them, then the crown will pay you in full for your services.
Oh, thank you so much, Lord Richter. I'm glad that all our hard work will pay off. This event always yields us good coin. John will be very pleased to hear this. As young as he is, he's been a hard-working lad.
How old is he now?
16 in Flore, I believe.
Florere. Florere? Flabebe. Florere. What month is that? I have no context for what month this is. Yeah, no context for what this month is.
How's our little prince doing?
He's fine. Not so little anymore, though.
Ah, so he finally hit his growth spurt.
No.
Shame.
She tucks the letter under the counter.
Now you might have been here on the king's orders, but I know Lyle is here because of his stomach.
Cedric voice. This is totally a Cedric voice. Lyle is staring at the shelves with his tongue slightly hanging out.
I should tell you about the time he came in here with that friend of his. Oh, what was his name again? Anyway, when I was in the back, he ate half of an entire pie and...
Hahaha, you really don't have to tell him about that. She giggles and rolls her eyes.
What can I get you two to eat?
Take a look at what's on the shelves and on the counter. There's a really nice plate of pastries on the shelf with little labels.
I'll have a slice of blueberry pie. Oh, and with a little bit of cream on top, too. Don't you still owe me for the last one? Maybe. I'm just messing with you.
She turns to me.
What about your handsome lord?
See Lyle turn and look at me from the corner of my eye. I'll have an almond cream tart.
John?
A rotund wolf with red fur leans in the doorway. He's working by the stove while we were talking. He has a pudgy face and sweet eyes.
Yes, Mom? You hear that?
Yes, Mom, I did. I'll get that out to you folks in a few. John sits down what he was doing and reaches up to a shelf to prepare a slice of pie.
That'll be 8 copper pieces.
Hal reaches behind him and pulls a small sack off of his belt. He reaches in and pulls out a shiny coin. Here's a silver. You can keep what's left.
Thank you.
Does that cover the one I owe you?
No.
While Lyle paid for our treats, John came out and placed the orders on the counter. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. You boys have a good rest of your day.
You too. Well, wasn't that twee? The pastry is the last bit of warmth left on my person once we go outside. The temperature has gone down a bit as the day has gone on. I take a bite out of my tart and it's more flavorful than I imagined it could be. The flaky crust tastes really good and the almonds had a nice texture. It's great. Here Lyle next to me, chowing down on his pie. It's bite-sized for him. He finishes it and rubs the back of his head. They always have the best food. Do you like it? It's really good. Say this with my mouth full and I chuckle a bit. Glad you like it. Let's go sit by the fountain. Okay. We walk over to the fountain and sit on the ledge. Warm water particles bounce up onto us from the fountain, but I don't mind. Lyle moves his cape so that he's not sitting on it, and pulls out his dagger. I finish eating my food and stuff the paper into my coat. He's sitting there with a thoughtful look on his face while he twirls the dagger in his paw. I start to feel a bit tired and decide to lean against him for a bit. Feels nice being this close to him. I feel him tense up a little as I put my weight on him. I can move over if you want to lay down. No, this is fine. Okay. I feel him start to calm down, and after a while, he leans into me, too. His fur smells like coconut. Coconut? That's what we're going with? Coconut? Okay. It's really strong scent. That'll probably be one of those strange soaps from the bathroom. I don't remember seeing or smelling coconut in the bath, though. It's nice. Reminds me of home, where there was this nice tavern with coconut-scented candles. I start to daydream about pressing my face into his warm embrace, when I'm snapped out of it by him nudging me on the shoulder. Is coconut even, like, a natural scent? Like, I don't know, I guess I've never seen a coconut in real life. Okay, like, if I go to Hawaii, smack a coconut out of a palm tree, and managed to not die from it landing on my head somehow. Bash the coconut open with like a rock or some shit. And then I stick my muzzle, right? I stick my snout into the coconut and I take a big whiff. Is it going to smell like how coconut like shampoo smells? Right? Like probably not. It's probably just going to taste like wood or something. I don't know. I start to daydream about pressing my face into his warm embrace when I'm snapped out of it by him nudging me on the shoulder. Hey. You're freezing cold. He brushes one of his paw pads against my forehead. Do you want to go get my sword and head back to the castle? Sure, I think I'm ready to go. Okay. He helps me up and we start walking towards the forge. I am starting to feel a little bit too cold. I guess the warmth of the castle had been coddling me these past few weeks. We enter the forge and Adon is standing at his anvil, banging away at a piece of metal. Spot Lyle's longsword on the rack with the others. The wolf-head pommel stares back at me with an angry face. You can tell the sword is built for a big person because it completely dwarfs the other longswords, making them look like short swords. Welcome back, my friends. There she is, all sharp and ready for use. He's right. The blade of Vecrite is practically glowing in the firelight. When the light hits her just right, you can even see a bit of a swirl design. Thanks, Ed. Really are the best. I know. Don't you forget it. Just like you won't be forgetting the price. You're getting a discount, but it's not free. Of course not. How much is it this time? 5. Right then. He pulls out his pouch again and sifts through it for 5 gold pieces. Here you go, Adon. He drops the pieces into his paw and Adon stuffs them into his apron. Thank you very much, good sir. Lyle walks over to the rack and picks up his sword, swinging it onto his back and sliding it into the sheath. You can't do that. That's not possible. Have a pleasant day. You too, old friend. We step outside and Lyle stretches, standing on his tiptoes. He lets out a big yawn, showing off his sharp teeth. Ready? Yes. Lyle leads me to the alley where the tunnel back to the castle is. He opens the door and we go down the steps with him holding my hand. Once we got back, Lyle dropped me off in my room and had to leave to go do something. He said that he would be back around sunset if I wanted to go anywhere, to make sure I stay safe and out of trouble. I assured him that I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself. He knows this, but just wants to make sure that I'm okay. What do I need to be afraid of? I decided to go for a walk down the halls and maybe try to find someone to talk to. As far as I know, I don't have anything else planned for today, so I'm just trying to fill in the boredom. I hear some voices coming up the hall after a while. Yes, I know that. Okay. Still, I just let you know that you had to let them heal for at least today. Understand, I'm not an idiot. Of course, Your Highness. Once I turn the corner, I find it hard to keep a straight face. It's a very strange thing to see Adrius without his horns. It's also hard not to notice. Like if I chopped off all my hair. Prince Adrius. What on Tigran happened? What do you mean, what happened? I shed my antlers. Oh. I'm not entirely sure if that's a normal thing. Honestly, his answer just brings up more questions. I've heard that some species with horns will shed them, but I didn't think this is what that meant. So, this is normal? Of course it's normal. It happens every winter. He takes a deep breath. And I would have preferred you not see me this way. So don't go blabbering to your lackey about this like it's some sort of hilarious joke. After this outburst, he pushes past me, continuing to walk down the hallway. Your Highness, I wouldn't. Leaf scuttles behind him, trying to get some last words in. Now remember, if you rub that oil on your, horns once every day, and they should grow back in no time. I can see his face right now, but I'm pretty sure Adrius is rolling his eyes so far back in his head that they might get stuck. Of course, I'm sure with how healthy they were, they will grow back even faster.
Our prince always did have beautiful horns. I rub the back of my head as I listen to Leaf desperately try to advise him. Atreus reaches the door to what I presume is his room. It's a large set of double doors with antler-shaped handles. And remember to... Atreus leans in the doorway of his room and pokes his head out. Thank you very much for your kind words of wisdom and compliments, Doctor. He said this in a very insincere tone, almost mocking him. Goodbye. He shuts the door on Leaf, causing him to reel. Patting off his robe, he lets out a sigh of defeat and starts walking towards me. Why is he always like that? What do you mean? Was he so rude all the time? Takes a moment to think. Or choose his words wisely. It's because of all the expectations being weighed on him. He doesn't get a lot of time for himself. I don't know. He just seems very closed off. He hasn't opened up to anyone in a long time from what I've heard. Don't be so harsh on the poor lad. The sneaky cat, the caracal, approaches us while Leaf jumps a bit. It's a large burden that he's being given. It's best that we give him some space and treat him with respect. He pauses after this statement and holds out his paw, observing his claws. Sorry for interrupting your discussion. That's all right. Yes, but on that last note, respect goes both ways, wouldn't you agree? He shakes his head in a disappointed way. Sadly, not in this profession. After this statement, he turns to Leaf. Leaf, was it? I was hoping I could get a moment alone to talk to Lord Richter. Of course. I'll be going now. His silent feet clack against the floor as he walks away. It was nice seeing you, Richter. Take care. After he's gone, Kadaj nods his head to the right. Walk with me. Sure. His tail swishes back and forth as we mosey down the corridor. How has your time here been? Very good for the most part. Been very accommodating, and I've even made friends with the captain of the guard. Yes. Lyle Reed. The brave shining knight. He laughs to himself. I have a feeling he doesn't like me much. No. He has difficulty opening up to people. That's not true, but I'd rather not tell Kadaj that Lyle doesn't actually like him. I find that hard to believe. You've only been here for a few weeks and he's become one of your dearest friends. Yes, I suppose he has. That reminds me. Are you planning on attending the ball? He's planning on going, yes. Put so much work into setting up that it would be a shame not to go. Planning on bringing anyone? There are plenty of pretty ladies in court that you could ask. Or gentlemen, if you prefer that. I blush at the thought of going to a party with someone like Lyle by my side. Yes, I suppose there are. It's okay, though. I still know who I will go with. I'll most likely end up deciding on the night it happens. Lets out a small chuckle and then stops walking to look out the window. Why were you sent here? What? Sorry if this seems out of nowhere. I'm just curious. What does Aaron want from this exchange? What does he mean? I was sent here for the same reason that he was. Lyre was in need of advisors for the king. It was a simple trade deal. I was sent here to help the King of Lyre with maintaining order for a hefty price. After I finish answering, he takes a moment to respond as he stares out one of the windows. As I had thought. I'm here as a diplomat too, but that was not the only task I was given. What was the other task? He pauses and looks at me with a very sincere look in his eyes. The people of Driz are worried. They fear that Lyre is falling out of touch with the rest of the kingdoms. Our cooperation goes on ever so smoothly, but our lands and connections are separated as ever. And our king... He runs his paw on the windowsill, touching a flower with one of his claws. Never mind that. I was sent here as a diplomat, but my main objective will stay the same. I've been instructed to keep an eye on this kingdom and reconnect it with the others. I understand what he's saying now. You're sent here as a spy? Another cat spy with a heavy use of green in their color scheme. He looks back at me with a confused glance, which then breaks into a warm expression. Do you think I am? Well, it's just... Whether I am or not does not matter. A word of advice, Richter. Trust your own judgment and rely on what you know. That's the only way you can get by in this line of work. What you know can help you in the end.
He puts his paw behind his back and continues walking.
It's okay to trust people, but never as much as you trust yourself. Now, I have one more question for you.
What is it?
Where do your allegiances lie? Your true allegiances.
This is a trick question? Is he testing me? Whatever he's doing, I don't like it. The obvious answer would be Lyre. Something tells me that's not correct. I'm loyal to the crown, but most of all I am loyal to Tigran. I can't get an exact read on his expression, but he seems pleased with my answer.
Perhaps you're smarter than most. Loyalty to Tigran is important, but you must not forget your dedication to those who matter.
Why are you asking me these questions?
I want to make sure I could trust you. I'll tell you this, I'm not a spy. I'm simply making sure that our kingdoms don't work in tandem.
Can work in tandem.
Mending the rift, if you will. Driz wants cooperation with Lyre, but we cannot do that without connections and relations. Much like how Lyre is contemplating how to tackle the bandit problem to the south, Driz has taken its own strides to secure stability.
He stops walking and looks out the window to see the sun move closer and closer to where the mountains touch the sky.
I fear that after this ball, things will be turning in an undesirable direction. No matter how hard people like us try to keep everything together.
What do you mean by that? There's a long silence before he speaks.
Nothing. At least, nothing I can perfectly predict at the moment. We shall cross that bridge when we get to it. There's a lot of work in store for us.
He turns on his heel and slowly walks away.
Oh, and one more thing.
What is it?
You don't have to worry about the king finding out about this conversation. I won't say a word. I'm sure you won't either, correct?
I don't see a reason why I should say anything. Lord Kadash hasn't done anything wrong, necessarily. I'd even say he's been doing his job better because of it. I agree that our kingdoms need to be more tightly connected if we want to ensure stability. No reason to say anything. He smirks back at me.
That's good to hear. Because if you did, it would be unpleasant for both of us. It would certainly make our jobs a lot harder.
He says this with no malice in his voice. Does he mean well?
Oh, and if you were looking for the king, I saw him in the gardens. You want to go find him now, though. The sun will be setting soon.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant afternoon, Richter.
Same to you. My mind wanders back to that question. Where do your allegiances lie? I'm not sure if I answered that question truthfully. My allegiances lie with whomever I'm currently serving. Lyre, Aaron, or Tigran as a whole. It'll be the death of you. Like a dodge shed, I get to that bridge when I cross it. Curious. I'm sure nothing bad will happen in this story ever. I'm sure everything will go smoothly until the very end, and there will be nothing dramatic or tense or climactic. Right, I'm sure we'll have none of that. I just need to get through the rest of the week. I stroll through the courtyards and outdoor halls and make my way to the gardens. There's nobody here from what I can see, and the dying light of the sun casts a yellow hue over the grass. The pond is shimmering gold, and leaves look like flakes of brass. I take a seat on the pond stump that Lyle sat on and stare into the water of the pond. My reflection is almost as clear as if I were staring into a mirror. A leaf falls into the surface of the pond and creates a ripple that distorts my image. Ow! What was that? I feel a searing pain surge through my head for a split second. I bend over, lowering my head closer to the pond, trying to gather my senses. Suddenly I have this weird feeling rush over me. My eyes drift onto the path. There's an area I haven't been to yet. It's enclosed by some walls and towers. It looks like it leads to a very thick patch of brush. The chilly air brushes up against my body. Barely should I brought a cloak or something. Standing up, I walk around the edge of the pond and trail my hand along the side of the apricot tree. Leaning in the archway, I think to myself why I'm even going back here. Feels like I'm being forced. I try not to think about it and just blame it on curiosity. It's then that I realize I can hear talking. Muffled and distant, but it's definitely a voice. Pain years. I can't really make out a complete sentence. The hedges twist and turn and I find myself walking down a path that feels more like a hedge maze. After a minute of walking, the hedges start to fade out, and I can see the rolling hills and mountains off in the distance. What I come upon next is a bit startling. Raynar is kneeling down in the grass, looking away from my general direction. He's in front of a tombstone with a dragon apricot sitting at its base.
Lena, every day I think about you. Things are never going back to the way they were.
Oh my god, I need to leave. I don't think I'm welcome here. I go to walk back down the path, but as I turn, I scuff my shoe on the path.
Richter?
He says this without turning to look at me. His eyes still linger on the grave, shrouded by the light of the sunset. Yes, Your Majesty. How did you know it was me? Looks down at his knees and then answers.
You're the only one here that wears shoes, Richter.
Oh yeah, so I'd probably give it away.
I'm sorry you caught me here, in this moment.
That's okay, I should probably leave.
No, please stay.
Speaking in a very sad voice, filled with agony.
Do you know what happened?
I asked her that she died several years ago.
Do you want to know?
Finding a way to respond to this is difficult. My social skills were never exemplary to begin with, but this situation is a bit too extreme. Still, I am curious. I feel like it would clear up some things. If you wish to tell me of your woes, I will listen. I can't even tell if he's breathing or not. The only thing that moves is his robe as it blows in the wind.
Spoken like a man who chooses his words wisely. I've never opened up to anyone about this.
He continues to sit there silently, barely moving.
We were on our way back from visiting Dries 10 years ago. Little Adrius was just 8 years old, looking after the castle for us. Of course, he had help from Sir Runar. The trip went well, and we had many successful discussions with the lords and ladies of Dries. Our time with King Aaron went well too. He was a good friend of mine. Traveling back home was when it happened. Our entourage consisted of several guards and a few dozen soldiers. All of them were trained very well, and the guards were as honorable as they come. But honor only gets you so far in the field of battle. At twilight, we were traversing through the canyon pass when we were attacked. You've heard of the bandit problem, yes?
Of course.
It's much worse back then. Entire legion of brigands trained to kill. Our carts were sitting ducks. They came sliding down the sides of the canyon. They knew the terrain better than anyone. The soldiers were not farm boys who had never swung a sword, however. They fought them off well. Well enough for us to get a chance to escape and ride ahead. Everything happened so fast, yet I can still remember it so vividly. The way Lana was gripping my wrist with her small but strong hands. The carriage careening down the path, hitting every bump in the road. The driver slumping over in his seat after getting an arrow through his chest. He inhales and exhales deeply through his nose and hunches over slightly. By the time the battle was over and my soldiers had caught up to the cart, it was too late. She died in my arms with a dagger in her stomach. His voice is shaking. They killed her. She was so good, and she was kind. It should have been.
Tears are streaming down his face. His words are sticking in his throat. He gathers himself and continues.
When we had arrived back at the castle and Hadrius found out, he locked himself in this room for weeks. I would sit on the ground outside his bedroom and try to talk with him. The amount of grief her murder caused me was unbearable, but I can't imagine how he felt.
I can see him take his cloak and wrap it around himself tightly.
Now those outlaws have made a resurgence. I'm powerless.
He finishes his story and sits there, staring at the sunset. This is a lot to take in. I don't really know how to respond. I don't get a chance, however. He stands up and slowly clears his throat and walks back down the path. Followed behind him, not wanting to be left there with all that information.
Richter?
Yes, Raynar?
I need you to be there for him. Once he becomes king. I need you to guide my son down the right path. A king without his advisors is like a brain with no conscience.
He rubs his hands together.
Can I trust you?
Can I be trusted? Can I be there for him? At first the thought irks me, but then I remember what Kadaj told me about stability earlier. This might be my chance. I can try.
That is all I ask. I want him to be a better king than I was. I need him to be a better king. I truly did let him down.
Your Highness, don't say that.
It's true. One day, I will explain why.
One day, I will give you the continued backstory. He looks around and blinks his eyes a few times.
I apologize for robbing you of a perfectly fine evening.
It's quite alright. It was my fault for wandering back there. I found myself choosing my words wisely, like walking on eggshells.
Yes, I suppose so. However, it was a simple mistake, and don't fault you for it. I find you're terribly easy to confide in.
Easy?
Only God knows the reason why.
He swiftly nods his head while wiping his eyes with his hands.
I'll be going now. Please take care.
Raynar?
Yes, Richter.
It's not your fault. He closes his eyes in contemplation, then responds.
I wish it weren't.
And with that, he leaves. I stand in the garden for a while longer, watching the sun dissipate behind the mountains. The cold starts to get to me, so I head inside. I've been sitting at my desk for the past hour thinking about the events of this afternoon. And to think, this day started off so well. Now my mind can't stop racing. Actually, it feels completely blank. Like there's so much to think about, so my mind tries to think about it all at once and it just shuts down. I really have been given a great task. It will most likely force me to give up the thing I want most. Suddenly, the door swings open, almost blowing out the candle on my desk. Lyle. Lyle is slumped in the doorway and has a dazed look in his eyes.
Hey, Richter.
Oh, he's drunk. Extremely drunk. Where have you been?
Well, I was doing some business in my quarters, and then I went to the mess hall for some supper. Me and my fellow guardsmen were playing drinking games. And
He flops into the chair I was just sitting in.
I won.
His clothes are all tussled and his fur is a mess. I found myself speaking to him like one with a child. That's great, Lyle. How much did you drink exactly? It takes a moment to think about his answer.
How many mugs is too much?
About 4?
I probably drink 9.
That's really not good for you. I've lost my patience for everyone at this point, so all I can do is just rub my hands together awkwardly. The dresser with the rag and clean water catches my attention, so I move over there to get a damp rag for him.
You're really handsome, you know that? Hey, pretty hair.
What? Thanks? My face is more red than ever, than it was ever before right now.
I wish I had long hair like yours.
I bring out the rag into the bowl and bring it over to Lyle. His head is now long to the side slightly, and he can barely keep his eyes open.
Humans are so pretty. And difficult. Oh, so very difficult.
Lyle? He passed out. I dropped the rag back on the dresser and grabbed a blanket. I can't really be mad at him. He's such a great guy. What do you mean by that last part, though? Difficult. Am I difficult? Lazily, I toss the blanket onto him and blow out the candles. I kick my shoes off of my feet and fall into bed. I feel completely exhausted. No tail to wag, no ears to pin back. Okay, guys, that was chapter 4, Lyre. That was Lyre chapter 4. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting chapter. I feel like a lot happened there. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see the town, right? It was nice to see the castle, or leave the castle for a second. Something bad's definitely going to happen at some point. That can be assured, right? Something bad's definitely going to happen at some point. That can definitely be assured. But the specific details of which I guess we'll figure out in the future. Thank you.